We're at MAGFest 2020 talking to martial art. Do you guys want to tell us a little bit about how you got involved in music?
Sure thing. So first of all, I'm JMR, Jeff Roberts. Been making music since I was in high school, kind of as a hobbyist thing. Mostly electronic stuff. Started getting into chiptunes, and met this guy a couple years later.
Hello, I'm Mikhail. I'm from Moscow, Russia, and I've been playing guitar since I was 15. But I started to write music and play in bands much later, and I play in some rapcore music, and I played some kind of new metal, and then I played several industrial bands, doing some improvised noise jams, and now I'm playing with this guy.
And me? All right, my name's Corey Johnson. I'm a 33-year-old musician from Huntsville, Alabama. I've been playing music since I was 15 as well. Specifically been doing video game covers for the past probably close to 10 years. Before that, just kind of doing whatever. I never released anything before I started doing video game covers. I guess I wouldn't. I'm like the fifth Beatle to martial art.
Give yourself more credit.
Yeah. So I come in and help them out live, but I also mixed their first album, their self-titled. So.
Okay, awesome. So why video game music, and what is the premise of martial art in the scape of video game music?
That's kind of a twofold question, I guess. I feel like martial art kind of exists on the boundary between original chiptune music and video game covers. We kind of dabble in both sides of the fence, right? I guess why video game music? I mean, we were talking, myself and Corey, about how as kids we used to hold our Fisher Price cassette recorders up to the microphone on the TV and record the Sonic 2 sound check. We both grew up listening to and appreciating the music, both in the game and outside of the context of the game. And I think just working on video game covers, working on video game music like this, it just kind of feels like a natural progression of that. If you enjoy working on music and you enjoy that music, why not show your appreciation by taking something like that and making it your own? You know.
I also think there is community thing to it, because for me the video game music community was one of the first, should I say, families, because it felt like it kind of accepted me fully, with who I am and what I like. And first time I came to MAGFest, which was 9 years ago, it was really kind of unusual, but
probably eye-opening.
Yeah, eye-opening sensation of being accepted and being among like-minded people and being able to literally stop everyone and talk to him and just find the common topic in seconds. And doing video game covers was huge part of that. And the online community called The She's, based on the Minibus's message board, was the community that kind of
it was kind of the common ground for everybody.
Yeah,
brought everybody together. And
exactly.
We would not exist as a band if it wasn't for the shiz.org and that community.
I mean, at some point you just doing it not only for the music itself, you're doing it because there is this community that accepts that, and it's kind of a big part of it. Because you know what you're getting emotionally when you're doing that, and what response you're getting.
So and speaking of community, so you guys are from different places, but you're about to do main stage together. How does that kind of thing happen, right? How does that evolve?
Lots of Facebook messaging and Dropbox is how it happens. Martial art from its very beginning was an online collaboration. We did meet in person at MAGFest 9 before ever working on music together, but any song that we've ever written, every video game arrangement that we've ever put together has been a long-distance collaboration where one of us will start a demo or a song, send it to the other person who will add their parts or their elements, or take what you've written and switch it around, change it up a bit, and build from that. That's kind of how martial art has like spiraled into what it is now. And like as for how we do like the main stage stuff, it's very much the same thing. Like we'll prepare a track for the like a backing track for the musicians, like Corey, Mikhail, and Kev, our drummer, who is absentee right now. We prepare like a track for them, and everybody rehearses independently to that, and then we get to MAGFest and hope and pray that it comes together.
Yeah, I mean, like there's also like since like we go into MAGFest for a long time, look, we see a lot of precedents, like the bands like Metroid Metal who managed to prepare the live show like while living like in all across America.
They live all the way across the country from each other,
Yeah,
and they were able to put together like what I remember being like one of the tightest MAGFest shows that I saw in my first year. Like they can pull that off, and if they can, why can't we?
Yeah, exactly.
I would just like to give a shout out to Grant Hendrix, Metroid Metal, because he's the reason I started doing these things. Like, first heard his demos in like '04, and like, oh my God, he could turn video game music into that. And to go back to an earlier question about why video game music, why do you do that? For me, it's kind of like a challenge of making it your own, doing it in a different style. Like, not a lot of people have done psychedelic or post-rock versions of video game covers, so let me try that. And yeah, and I think that's how I found the community. I think the community was like, "What the hell is that? Let's bring that guy into the community. He's doing this weird noise shit with can I curse? Okay, weird noise shit with video game music, and it's been a great, like, some of my best friends I've made over the years have been from this community across the years.
Did you guys want to talk at all about the communities that you guys got involved in, like the Shiz, Dwelling of Duels, any other ones you might want to throw out?
I want to talk about Dwelling of Duels for a little bit. I'll pass on to them the Shiz, because I'm more Shiz adjacent. Like, I'm friends with a lot of Shizzies, but to my discredit, like, I've never really dug in and listened to the mini bosses, so I can't say I'm a true Shizzy, right? But like, Dwelling of Duels is a community where musicians get together every month and, based off of a theme, prepare an arrangement and record it and perform it. And everyone kind of gets together, and it's not like serious critique, but they kind of vote on which they think is the better one, the best performance, and you could use that as feedback to improve as a musician. And it's like really cool because like one month it could be brevity, all songs have to be under a minute. They could be from any game though. But another month it'll be snow themed. It could be any song from a game that's from a snow level. And then you got months that are from certain composers. You got free months where you could do anything. You have months where it has to be from the Legend of Zelda series, for example. And then you got some months where it's got to be this one song, but you got a solo on it, and the best solo wins. And it's if you want to improve as a musician and challenge yourself on, have constraints, have time limits, learn to get something out quick, I highly encourage people to get into Dwelling of Duels. So, thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
So I think I found the Shiz also through Dwelling of Duels, but I've been listening to like video game music bands for a while by that time. It's just like it started as like like the lone music listener hobby, and I was just like didn't like even think about the community aspect of it, because I was just like finding bands on Soulseek or on MySpace and just listen to music. And then I found Dwelling of Duels, like looking for, I don't know, Chrono Trigger covers or something like this. And, well, starting to like lurk on the forums, read the posts, and it was kind of like striking me that people actually kind of have like much deeper relationship with the music and with, like with the artists who doing it. So eventually I signed up, and like the other reason for that was like because my favorite band at that time, Chromelodion, like got disbanded recently, and I wanted to get some record like CDs and whatever they have left, and I found that all the members of the band were hanging out on that forum, so I just signed up to send a message like, hey, can I buy some CDs? And can you mail them to Russia?
Signed up as a fanboy, basically.
Yeah.
And then like you become the grandmaster of it.
Yeah, you mean Dwell on Wheels?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the other thing that I started just like the listener of Dwell on Wheels, and then I tried to submit songs, and sometime after that I was actually running it for 3 years, like organizing the competitions and doing all the social media promotion, all that stuff, and even got to the new website with the help of like one of the community members who did all the programming, and and I've been running the listening parties at MAGFest too. But I'm glad that I'm not doing this anymore because sorry, cut. I was just taking too much time, and I was I felt that I wasn't doing like the proper job for it. So.
Well, or do you want to talk to that, to all your dual shiz stuff?
I have a little bit I can say.
Yeah.
So I came into like the shiz and DoD a little bit later. I guess my first real introduction to video game covers and video game music video game music outside of the like original game soundtracks was finding I think it was a Vert remix on Napster that was tagged as an overclocked remix song. And I think I found that community, and that was my gateway into being like a part of an online family of music appreciators, basically. And like while these guys kind of like use DoD and the shiz as a way of building up their music chops, I used Overclock Remix in their work in progress forums back in like the early 2000s, back when I was still like an immature teenager who didn't know what the fuck he was doing. So, I mean, I eventually found my way to like these other communities, but there's a lot of crossover. There's a lot of cross-pollination between all of these individual online families.
So speaking of that, like, is there any advice you would give to other musicians in the community, or maybe just outside of the community, to help like try to bring them in or get them collaborating or cross-pollinating more or less?
Like honestly, like just don't be shy. Don't worry about like coming across gatekeepers or anything like that. Like some of these communities like look insular from the outside, but as soon as you introduce yourself, as soon as you make your presence known, it's like you get a warm embrace of welcome. Like there's,
I can attest to that.
Yeah, like
I can attest to that because I, it was outside of the scene until like I dropped 2 albums and people, brought me in and were super welcoming.
And there is also no shortage of communities nowadays because like. Aside from the shiz and OSU Remix, there is also Material Collective.
Yeah.
There's a huge Pixel Mixers. There's a huge community of YouTube artists. I mean, like you can just pick your own medium and find people and introduce yourself here. As Jeff said, it's actually not that hard.
No, and I guess the other important point to make is that the barrier to entry is super, super low. Like, you don't need to be a polished studio musician. You can come in as a novice who's just home recording using your own setup, or you could be working on like purely electronic music and still be part of this community. Like, it's not hard to start off with like a laptop and free software and still be able to like build your skills and build your knowledge and build a community, build a friend base in all of these various communities that we talked about.
Cool. So what are you guys looking forward to at MAGFest, and what have you done that's fun so far?
We've actually been trying to keep it low key this year for MAGFest. Like we're performing tomorrow night, and we don't want to burn ourselves out. We saw Cheap Dinosaurs last night. We all made a point to see those guys because they've been good friends.
David Wise.
Yeah, we skipped David Wise, which is kind of like we're cringing at ourselves a little bit for that. But we had to see Cheap Dinosaurs. They've been good friends of ours since day one for me attending MAGFest, and like their set is always a spectacular thing. As for what else we're looking forward to, Arm Cannon tomorrow, later tonight. The entire main stage lineup tomorrow, you can't pick and choose favorites out of that. It's just like top-notch performer the entire way down the running lineup. Disco Cactus
and the Soul Bros and the Ska Tune Network. It's a sick run.
Yeah. The Proto Man.
Yeah, Proto Man, Power Glove. I mean,
yeah.
it's a who's who of who's happening in this community, basically, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Also, I mean, like for me, coming to MAGFest is like seeing people because seeing people that I can only talk to online. So, yeah, I'm just looking forward to say hi to as many people I know and meet someone new. So.
Awesome, great. Well, thanks for talking to me, guys. Have a good rest of your MAGFest. Have a good show.
Cheers.